Well, hey. Happy Sunday, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
We are here with an amazing message from this amazing character sitting beside me. And I think you guys know who he is, but just in case you don't, his name is Dr. Michael Gross. And
And
he's
this,
the author of the spiritual primer. I got
you
him.
beat me to it.
We have this thing, we try to flash our books.
And I'm sitting next to this amazing woman, Healing the Holes in Your Soul. It's a wonderful book about empowerment, motivation, and the will and desire to survive no matter what occurs to you. So this is a very powerful book. I recommend all of you, buy this book, read it, and you'll learn how to be empowered, motivated, and change your life.
Oh, thank you so much, Michael. But don't forget, start here. Okay? Start with this book because this is the reason and this is the man who wrote the spiritual primer who's been helping me for a while now get out of my little shy self and out here doing things that I love doing to share with you some of the amazing things that he's taught me. So, on that note, why don't we have a topic?
Yes, we do.
And Michael, do you know the name of the topic? We actually have it.
Yes.
It's okay. It's called Belief in the Need for.
Confirmation.
There you go.
And I'm so excited because I really want to address this.
So before we get into that, really, really quick, what I'm going to do is this is the only scripted part that we have. Everything else, Michael channels, and then I put in my, a few pennies worth.
Absolutely. It's important.
So I'm going to go ahead and read this, and then we're going to get ready for the message because it is Sunday. We appreciate you coming on your Sunday nights. I know this is family day, and these recordings will be. We save them on Facebook. We save them on YouTube, so you can access them and contact us. All the information will be down below in the comments. Okay. So here we go. You ready, Michael?
I'm ready.
All right. Dr. Michael Gross is an author, professional keynote speaker, transformational coach, and an entrepreneur. For more than 3 decades, he's been on a spiritual path as an intuitive, a healer, a spiritual counselor, and a phenomenal teacher. Through the guidance of spirit, through the guidance of spirit, Michael has assisted others in their personal quest for self-empowerment, helping them to create the lives that they have long sought and to bring forth their intuitive abilities. I keep thinking you're looking at a spider or something in my hair. I'm like, okay, so all frivolity aside, through the guidance of, I'm going to read this again. I want you guys to really, really hear this, okay? Through the guidance of spirit, Michael has assisted others in their personal quest for self-empowerment, helping them to create the lives that they have long sought and to bring forth their intuitive abilities. Michael currently teaches classes in spirituality, self-empowerment, Reiki, and other modalities. In concert with God, the True Source, he has also achieved great success and miraculous healings. He remains humble, knowing the work that he does all comes from God, the True Source. Michael lives currently
in Lakewood, Washington.
You're such a goofball. And he's just launched. We're having a really fun day, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Okay. He has just recently launched his phenomenal nonprofit, and I'm going to ask Michael to tell you that.
It's the International Institute of Self-Empowerment, or as we affectionately call it, TISE, TIISE. And it's all about helping people. And there are 12 modules or arms to it, if you will. And when Spirit said, True Source said, to form a nonprofit, I said, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but 501c3. And that's important for us because sometimes we have to follow what happens. And then I met this beautiful woman next to me, and I had the honor and privilege of helping her and coaching her. She wrote the book, Healing the Holes in Your Soul. And it's all about abuse. So the first arm or module that we'll be working on is abused women, children, and men. And certainly I'm so impressed with how she put her life together and how she's healing her life, that I asked her to be director in charge of our program that involves abused women, children, and men, which she consented, which was made me very, very happy. And so we're in the process of fundraising. We're doing all the things we can do to get it together. It's a slow process, slower than I thought, but I understand. And sometimes frustrating, but we're coming out with our new site and we're coming out with our new website and things we'll be doing. And we'll be doing more and more fundraising. So just to give you a little background of what they're doing. But we're also going to be continue doing these podcasts and working with abused women, children, and men because it's so important, because it is a major factor throughout the world. And my numbers may be off somewhere about 89, 90% of people throughout there, or persons throughout the planet, have low self-esteem. And so that's very, very important because part of our lessons is to learn about self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem, not in a haughty, egotistical way, but have a value within ourselves. And actually, this is a little lead up to what I wanted to talk about. Sneaky, isn't it? But nevertheless,
You do it very
thank
well.
you. So, we're looking at what is going on in our lives, belief and confirmation. And, it's so frustrating to me because I've been teaching for years. And people will have an experience. And it'll be great. And then they'll go on and talk to their husbands or their wives or others. And they go, well, how do you know? That could be a bunch of hot air. You just imagine it. They go on and on and on and on and on and on. My personal frustration with it, but I want to share it with all of you. Every experience you have is unique. And every experience you have is very important. And one of the examples I use, a person with a broken ankle is as painful as a person who broke their pinky. Now, you would say, how can you compare the two? On paper, you can't. But in the measurable pain, you can. Because the pain that's a broken ankle, very painful. Broken finger is very painful. The other day, meaning a while back, I was bitten by a bumblebee. Not a bumblebee, but a wasp. I got to tell you, it was really painful. Is it painful as a broken leg or a knee? Probably not. I don't know. I don't have a basis of comparison. But it was gosh darn painful. And that's the point. So your own experience is unique to you and you alone. But what do? We go out. Well, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? What do you think of this? And everybody's got an opinion. And everybody's an expert on everything else. Now, I'll agree there are some experts that know more. Some architects, if we want to stretch that out, or some construction people have more expertise. And I will grant that. But when you have an experience, why are you asking somebody else for confirmation? And I ask spirit in a meditation. And the answer is because you don't believe it. And you need confirmation. Well, the old story. I once had a student, and it was called Talking Books, where they were buying books, and putting in CDs or tapes. I think it was tapes then, and, eventually CDs. And her husband didn't want anybody to, didn't want her to do it. He wanted to buy a new boat. So in this story, she came to me for an intuitive reading. It's going to be great. And she went to a lot of intuitive people. And she eventually came back to class. So when I went to 12 psychics, only one of them got it right. The other 11 said it would be perfect. It would be successful. The 12th said it wouldn't, and she was right. So my husband's going to buy a boat. It was her dream to do this. She was looking for an excuse not to have confirmation. And I said to her, well, the odds are 11 out of 12, that's about 92, 93%, don't hold me to that figure, said it would be successful. And talking books went on to be very successful, and audio books that lead into, and so on and so forth. But she had to have confirmation because she couldn't follow her beliefs, her intuitive guidance. And that's so much going on. And I remember one time I was doing this workshop, And the workshop was meeting your guardian angel. It was a 2-day workshop. And the second day, one of my students said, I told my husband about it and asked him what he thinks. And he said, oh, that's just your imagination. That's a bunch of baloney. I said, oh, okay. Well, was he there? No. Did he experience what you experienced? No. Did he feel what you felt? No. Did the message make sense? Yes. So why are you questioning it? And why did you ask your husband for confirmation when he doesn't believe in angels? He has no concept of what you experienced, doesn't understand what your purpose was, didn't go into a deep meditation, didn't feel that light and love in his heart. What makes him an expert to dissuade you that it was your imagination? Think about that. And how many times I have counted in my life, and I've been teaching a long, long, long time.
What, since Abraham Lincoln?
Since I voted for Abraham Lincoln. You're right. And it's like, why is it in us that we need confirmation when it's your own personal experience? Why? And it's because it goes contrary to the thinking and belief system that you had since a child, whether it's school education, even religious beliefs. Most religions go, unless you do it my way, you can't go to heaven. My way's the only way. Well, we all know, those who are listening to this, there are many ways to go to heaven, to reconnect with the true source, as I call it. There are many different paths. And so I share one path, and there are many others. But I'm so watch people. Is this the right thing? Is this the right thing? Is this the right thing? They talk about buyer's remorse and all these things. But really, it boils down to this. A, was your experience to you real? Did it feel good? Did it feel real? And, I asked the true source one day, why do people need confirmation? And the answer is, it's because they want confirmation or belief. They want to be sure they really experienced it. How can you ask another person that never experienced it? How can you do that? I remember one time, and some of you may know, I'm a non-denominational minister, and it was at a funeral, and so the pastor was talking, and I talked about Pythagoras, numerology. Oh, he was so upset with me. Well, that's anti-religion, anti-this and anti-that. Like, oh my goodness, that's your training and belief. But those of you who are familiar with numerology, a lot of truth in it, and the energy of the words and numbers are very important. I'm not going to enumerate that like that, numerology and enumerate it, but nevertheless, the problem
You're
is
funny.
we're
Funny.
so brainwashed with blinders, we don't look left or right. We can only look forward. And yet life is all about experiences. And life is all about what you experience. You have all had dreams at one time, or messages, or even thoughts that certain things would occur, and they occur. Even now, it's becoming more prevalent when a loved one births out of their body, their soul visits their family, one or all members of the soul. And yet, we have been trained and brainwashed not to believe that the other side can come speak to us. And then everybody, well, I heard from my great grandmother or my mother or father. Did I really hear from? Is it really true? Did I make up my mind, or is it my imagination? And on and on and on. How can you ask somebody who never experienced anything like that? On the other hand, if you share the experience, like to you, have you ever experienced your mother or father that's on the other side coming to talk to you?
Yep.
Yep, and you have.
Yep.
And well, I experienced that too. So you're getting confirmation. But as I say, ask the right people, those who have experienced before and what it's like. But to ask outsiders or even family members, they have no concept. And probably part of the problem, they have blinders on. The other part of the problem is that if doesn't come from whatever the religiosity is. It's negative or the devil's work. Really. So if a deceased relative comes and gives you a message, I love you or miss you, is that the devil's work?
Can I share a story?
Please.
I thought for the longest time, this was several years ago in the late 1980s, and I thought for sure I must have had, something, maybe I was wired wrong, but I was going through a really, really tough time in my life. And I think I talk about it in the book. I don't even know if I wrote it, but one night I went to sleep and I knew I wasn't drinking. I was not drinking. I went to bed and I heard, "Open your eyes." And I opened my eyes and I saw my grandparents standing there, and they had both passed, and they were standing there in the clothing that they were wearing when we buried them, and they were speaking to me, and I could see them like holograms, like I could look through them. I could see the crooked picture hanging on the wall, but they were there. Now no one else saw them because I was alone in my bedroom. How can I deny what I saw? And I thought we'd had a conversation. They answered every question that I had been struggling with at that time. And I had had panic attacks. I had panic attacks every night. I was going through divorce. I had kids at home. I was a single working mom, barely, borrowing from Peter to pay Paul kind of thing. And I have not had a panic attack since that time when they came to visit. And I understand that when you're struggling with things in your life, sometimes people who have passed, like my grandparents, come back to help you. That's true, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, because they came back and I thought I can't tell anybody this because they're going to think I'm crazy. Okay, and I want you to kind of, if that's okay, share a little bit about that in a sec. But when they come to talk to us,
Mm-hmm.
but when I first went to work that day, I thought, oh my goodness, I couldn't tell anyone, but I had to. I felt the urge to tell this one guy in the back loading dock. I worked, doesn't matter where I worked. He was on the loading dock and I went, "Hey, don't think I'm crazy." And I told him what happened that night. And he looked at me like, "I'm looking at you." And he said, "You're not crazy. That's happened to me." So he understood because he could relate. But people who have never had that experience are the ones that are judging.
Well, but you intuitively knew at some level by addressing this point to that gentleman that he had that experience. Now, you didn't consciously know it, but intuitively you do it. So you
Okay.
just follow the gut feeling, the intuition, whatever you want to call it. Yes, many times our deceased relatives will come to us, and they will come to us with a message. And some of you from my previous podcast, when I started teaching many eons ago, they would smell the perfume. Everybody would. 30 people in the room. "Hey, smell that, Michael?" "Yeah, maybe it's our angel. I don't know." And then I realized it was an evening in Paris, and you've heard me talk about this before, which was my mother's perfume. And she was there to protect me and guide me. And we need to understand that if you have this gut, intuitive, spiritual, I like to use the word gut or intuitive, but I prefer intuitive feeling because the word gut is kind of demonstrative, yucky.
Yucky.
Yeah, gut doesn't have any love, but intuitive has it flows, feeling. Go with it. But too many people try to figure it out. And my motto is, if you don't know where you're going, you can't get lost.
I love that one.
And you just have to turn around and experience it. Or it goes from point A to point B to point C until you have an aha. Like, wow, if I didn't do all those things. And sometimes, unless you talk to the right person, you're seeking approval, because that's what you are when you're asking them. You want approval that you heard or you experienced the right thing. Sometimes we call it confirmation. You're looking for it. But sometimes there's no explanation except what you felt deep within you. And intuitively whether it's of love and joy or not a love and joy. You know that. You can tell by the feeling. It's an exciting feeling. It's a joyous feeling. It's the feeling that yes, 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 yes. Every great inventor has had that feeling to make something they made. Elon Musk, we'll talk about him with the Tesla battery cars. Now, he wasn't the first one. He may have been working on it, but Honda and Toyota came out with electric cars and they improved it. Maybe they heard around about Elon Musk. I don't know. But everything that comes about when we meditate or we're searching for an answer. Searching for an answer is a short, tiny little meditation. Like, should I really buy this jacket? Or should I really move here? And you're really seeking confirmation, right? You're asking for a sign, and it comes to you. You don't need a verbalization from someone else. I remember when I moved out to Boston from here. Oh, should I move out to the West Coast? Should I move out to the West Coast? Some would say yeah, some would say no, some would say you're crazy. You got your base here. But again, I asked for my sign. Some of you know the story. As I got on the Southeast Expressway, a car cut me off. I focused on the license plate, not on the model of the car or the color. Didn't know why. And it said Washington. There's my sign. However, if I went to somebody, well, listen, this car cut me off from Washington. Is that a sign I should get there? Probably, and I'm exaggerating. 50% said, yeah, Mike. And the other 50%, well, they cut you off, so that was a sign you shouldn't be here. I asked for a sign that I couldn't misunderstand. I don't need anybody's confirmation. So I came out here and it worked out beautifully. You see, every thought that you have, you are looking for some type of answer. It can be as simple as what's the car I should buy? What's the jacket or clothing I should? Where should I go to dinner? Where should I go to breakfast? What's the best time for me to call to you? All these thoughts are going through our minds subconsciously, and you don't need confirmation. The thoughts come to you, and it happens. All our life, we are seeking approval. That's why we're looking for confirmation. Nobody can give you approval. I mean, it's like usually your mother's would, you know. My mother would, no matter what I do, oh, Michael, that's great, it's great. You know, oh, I feel good. You know, as you got older, you realize, bless mothers, they're so
Thanks,
special.
Mom.
They are really, really special. And she gave me the strength to go through what I needed to go through. Because some of you remember the story, she would say, Michael, you can do anything. At 4 or 5, maybe earlier, that's all I ever heard. You can do anything, you can do anything, you can do anything. So what is it? Brainwashing? Yep. Pre-programmed? Yep. And I would get into businesses, do things I had no knowledge of. It would always work out because somewhere I can do anything. I can do anything. It shows you how adaptable the human mind is. It shows you how lack of fear can make you successful. But it also shows you have to have self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem to know that you're on the right path. And maybe that path goes from step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. So here I am, and I'm sharing knowledge with you. I'm a transformational coach, teacher. What set me up to do all that stuff? And I look back, at first I was a student, and sometimes I'm still a student, by the way, after all these years. But everything that I did in my life prepared me for this. Every experience, some were painful, but I allowed it to be painful. And then other things that occurred, teaching, several different colleges. Actually, one of the colleges I taught was Psych 101, but also remedial English. And remember dangling participles. Oh boy. I had to learn that all over again. And I taught economics, business communications, and marketing. And it was a wonderful experience. And I taught it at the undergraduate and graduate level. All this prepared me to be where I am right now. I didn't need confirmation. Should I teach? Should I teach college? Should I do this? Should I do that? No, it feels right. I must have manifested it. And it prepared me for what I'm doing now. So let me succinctly begin to end what I want to share with you. Listen to that intuitive feeling. Don't go running around, and see if it's the right thing. If it feels right, just do it. And then go from point A to point B to point C. And Thomas Alva Edison, remember? Some say it took 1,013,000 times, 1,012. But he kept going till he invented the electric light bulb. Because he believed in himself. And who could he ask for? Nobody knew anything about it. But he changed the whole industry. And if we looked at Jeff Bezos, he did books, Kindle books, and it grew into a big company. And we look at Elon Musk with electric cars. And then we look at all the others who developed our space programs. They just had the belief, and they were pioneering into ground and on areas they're not aware of. Even if they were discouraged, they had that belief. And they didn't go around asking everybody's opinion. Because I guarantee you, go back to the Wright brothers when they first had the airplane. Man, it's going to fly. Yeah, right. Sure. They're just getting in from the horses to cars. Yet they believed they could, and they didn't ask anybody's confirmation. Bottom line for all of you is when you have that feeling, follow it through. And don't ask their opinions. So I'll finish with this last story, and I'm probably running over. But Fred Smith, he decided when I think he was working on his master's, and he wrote a program, his business. And what he talked about was the overnight delivery, or 2 or 3 delayed delivery if it was further. The professors told him he was nuts, and he believed in it. Even though professors said they'll never happen, can't occur. Look at FedEx today and what happened. And it spawned UPS and other overnight delivery companies, whatever they may be, because he had a belief. And he didn't ask anybody's opinion. Because had he listened to his professors, they told him wouldn't work, he was nuts. That was their opinion. And look what he created. Believe in yourself, believe in your direction, and follow through. And even if it doesn't work out 100%, it'll lead to another step, and eventually you'll reach the grand prize. I want to thank all of you, and I know, Tia, we're running out of time.
We are, and I did want to add a little bit.
Please.
One of the things that when you say believe in what you're feeling and hearing and sensing, it's we don't need confirmation. We don't need permission. We don't need someone else's permission to believe in what we hear and feel within our heart and soul. My mom always told me, your mom told you you can do anything. My mom always told me, listen to your heart, believe in your heart and soul, and it will guide you the way you need to go. And that's so very, very true. So for all of us, thank you for sharing your wisdom with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for teaching me how to trust in my own inner voice, because it saved my butt,
Your bacon.
my bacon many, many, many times. I mean, we really don't need permission or confirmation. All we need to do is believe in what we're hearing and feeling. I'm so glad you had this topic today.
Well, thank you. Thank you for letting me share.
You're welcome. So on that note, what we have to do, what are we doing? Are we doing this or this?
Let's do that.
Let's do that. Okay. We're having a moment here. Okay. Michael and I do this message every Sunday night at 7 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time. And you can see it on Facebook and you can see it on YouTube. You just plug into our channels. And Michael also does a Tuesday night
Words of wisdom. And you call in and ask any kind of spiritual questions. And then I deliver approximately a 10-minute message. And in doing that, it's all about empowering you and to make a difference. Listen to my words, please, from my heart. empowering you to live the life that your soul so desires for you to do, not what the ego or anybody else tells you what to do. And it's very easy. It's every Tuesday. It's at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time to 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, and follows with a 10-minute message. So usually sometime between 7:18, 19, before 7:30, we try to deliver a message. Sometimes run a little over, but there's a reason for everything. And the access code and telephone number Tia is going to share with you.
And I'll also make sure everything's in the comments. So the number you dial in on Tuesday night is 202 926 1059.
And the access code is 125 446 pound.
I love it when you do that. Okay, one more time on the number. It's 202 926 1059.
And the access code is 125 446 pound.
And you can access all the recorded calls at this number. They're there 24/7. We don't take anything down. It's 434 300 4170. And the access code?
125 446 pound.
I'll give that number again. It's 434 300 4170.
And the access code is 125 446 pound.
And he has, how many calls do you have on there, you think?
I think it's 239 or 40 now.
It's getting very, very close to 240. I'm not sure myself, but you can start at number 3 and go to 200, figure 240. But if you don't know which number to start at, just think for a minute, and it's the first number that pops in your head. It'll be the message you need to hear that day.
Exactly.
Right? So tell the people, please, before we go, what do you do on the second Saturday of the month?
I don't know. What do I do?
I love the second Saturday of the month. You tell them.
Because we do a mass consciousness healing. And that goes from 9:55 a.m. to 11:01 a.m., an hour and 6 minutes. So if you join us late, after the first 3 to 4 minutes, maybe 5, it's done in silence. It's going to be one of the most rewarding, exciting, positive experiences you ever have. Plus, it changes the chaos in this planet into unconditional love. Sometimes it goes at the speed of light, sometimes at a snail's pace, but it'll be right and perfect. You won't need confirmation because you want to feel it. And the telephone number is?
Yeah, you definitely are going to feel it. Okay. It's access. No, wait. I was thinking about the feeling of it. Okay. It's 202 926 1059.
And the access code is 125 446 pound.
Shall I do it again?
No, I think they got it.
Okay, it's the same number as the Tuesday night call in. So if you have any, if you have any questions, you want to learn more about what Michael does, then definitely dial in on Tuesday night. And for healing the mass consciousness and helping Mother Earth, who so desperately needs our love right now, definitely mark it on your calendar. It's only one day a month, and it's always on the second Saturday. So plan ahead and invite your friends to all this.
I want to share one other thing, and that is what I've done is these podcasts that Tia and I are doing on Sunday night, plus these 10-minute messages, audio messages, you can access on YouTube. And just go to Dr. Michael B. Gross, initial B, Gross, when you go to YouTube, and you'll see the messages. And you will also see the podcast that Tia and I do. And we would ask you so much if you would push or acknowledge the subscribe button, because the more we get out there, the more changes we make in our lives, the more people hear and see how joyous our life is, they're going to want to emulate and be just like you.
Perfect.
So part of my mission and goal is to help everybody connect with God, the true source, and to do their spiritual, keyword is spiritual missions and goals, which is powerful, awesome, breathtaking, and of course, life-changing. So I would ask all of you, check out YouTube, Dr. Michael B. Gross, and you'll see the podcast, but also the 10-minute messages that I've delivered and the podcast that you and I do together. Would you like to add anything?
Thank you. I also have a YouTube channel. I haven't put your recordings on it because those are yours. But on my YouTube channel, you'll also see about what I do, and also all the recordings that we've been doing for over a year and a half now that we do on Sunday nights. So definitely pop into one of our pages. I highly encourage you to go ahead and subscribe to Michael's, because we also have somebody helping on his YouTube channel where a lot of his recordings are going up. So you'll get, when you subscribe, you will get a little alert, little notification that there's a new recording that's out on Michael's channel. And those are powerful. Those are the 10-minute messages, the 240 that are slowly coming out there. And you'll see some of my photos in there with his quotes. So it's something that, definitely subscribe and leave a comment. When you leave comments, that helps as well. And invite your friends to join us. It's incredible that we get this opportunity to share his wisdom with everyone else in the world. Doesn't matter where you are when we have the internet at our
Perfect.
feet. So on that note, anything else, Michael?
That's good. Thank you so much. So I want you to know that this program is brought to you by Healing the Holes in Your Soul.
And the Spiritual Primer.
And probably in another 4 to 6 weeks, there's going to be an addendum to the Spiritual Primer, and we'll be announcing it. It's a long time in coming. It's going to be very exciting and very empowering. But most of all, we want to wish all of you a great Sunday, a happy week that brings about prosperity, but more important, perfect health, love and joy, and happiness.
He's hiding behind the book, everyone. Okay, there you go. So here we have it. We really appreciate you coming to us and listening to our Sunday night message. And we're going to go ahead and wrap this up so you can get back to your Sundays. Okay?
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Remember, you are unlimited.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Good night.
Good night.